So yesterday we started using the connection component, how we can utilize the one connection object to multiple components. We tried that and we are able to establish a connection one time, and we are going to use in a multiple places within your job. So now I'm going to create a new scenario. We are going to establish a connection and we are going to check the file existence, and then we'll try to load the file to database. So when we are starting the job, so what is the we need? So we need to check the prerequisites. So what are all the prerequisites? First thing, we have to check the file exists in our path where we are trying to read the data from that file. So we have to check that file exists or not. So what is the component we are going to use for prerequisites check? So before starting the main flow design, so we are going to use the pre-job component, which will help you to check the before starting your job. So first component, which what is our check? So I want to check the file exists in that location or not. So what component we have? So we have a file exist component to check if the file exists or not. So this component which is going to check so what path you are going to pass, in that path file exists or not, it is going to check. So I'm going to use this is the file to do some operations on data. So where is this file located? Inbound candidates. So I'm going to fetch that file. Inbound. So we have a candidates.txt. So what is the delimiter for this file? So comma. Okay. So we are checking the file exist or not. If not exist, I don't want to proceed further. So I'm going to use the tdie component. So this component you see right where it is exist, logs and errors folder, tdie component. So you can see under logs and errors. So we are started using components for logging. So logging information on particular scenarios. So where you are going to log, how you are going to maintain the log information. So if the file does not exist, I want to kill immediately my job. So I'm going to use on sub job. You can use on component error. So here I'm going to write. Okay, so this is a custom 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 message I'm typing to understand what is the issue. Okay, I'm giving some number for this, so you can customize your error code also. So it's not there. And next, once the file exists, we want to load the data into the table. So what we have to check, we have to establish a connection. So you want to get the connection. So we have already metadata. So we can go to the metadata and you will get that connection component from. So this is a connection we are connecting to the schema called this TRN 2022-01-15. So I'm going to use that schema connection to establish for whole job. So we are going to have one connection and we are going to use a multiple times. So MySQL So now you see that properly it is getting label also, so because we are getting from metadata. So after this you want to check the connection, so you can use on job okay, and you can get tday again. So you can put that on component error. So we have already logging message here. I'm just going to copy this. So error message is a TB output. We want to use the connection message. So we can find is there any error message from DB connection. So I'm going to get that. So now, so our prerequisites are we have to check file exist, then we want to proceed. If not exist, then immediately we are going to kill the job. And after that, if the file exists, then it will go to the DB connection. So it will check the DB connection. It is able to establish or not. It is going to check and it will establish a connection. After that, our main flow needs to start. So our main flow is in between. We are going to have a main flow, and what is our closer points? So we have to check the DB connection. So we are going to use a post joblet. So post job. So what we want to check. So file exists, we don't need to close anything. So if we are not using any FTP connection or something, it's in a local. So we no need to worry about it. So we have to check the closer of DB connection. So you can copy this. Can copy this. Can have. Can select a database MySQL. Apply. Component okay. Can select the connection component name. So this is our connection component which we have created at the pre-job. So the list will display. You can select which connection you respect to that. You can close that. Okay. Now I'm going to use a tday again. So this message you can say can find any. So we don't have any custom like a global variable for this component. So we can leave it. Can use some number. Okay, so we have established a connection and we try to close at the end of the job. So in between, so here it is not actually file exist is so you have a number of process, so you don't need to only dependent on this file exist. Then instead of using this component, right, you can use a T1. So T1 what just it will just give the message, so it's going to give the warning. So file exists. If we are not completely dependent on process of file, so the file is not exist on the place also, still you want to run your process, and then we no need to use the tdi component. So it is going to kill your job immediately, right? To avoid that kind of situation, so you can use the t1. Just it's going to have a warning message, so it will just give the file does not exist in that location, please check and reprocess. You can just put that message in a warning component. So warning is just kind of message which will log into your whatever path you are going to have log file, or it's going to display on a console. Or you want to kill immediately, your process is completely dependent on the file, then you can leave it the td component. Without that file you don't want to run, you don't want to proceed this job, then you can use happily TDI component. So if the process has a different flows, then you don't need to kill job immediately. Then we are not going to use this component. So now what is our next step? So we want to take the input file. So if you want to read from the file, so T file input delimiter. So we are using a input delimiter data. We are trying to load into the database. And I want to have tmap, and I want to get the new database component which is going to create a table. So TDB output. I'm going to select the MySQL, and we'll ask to use the existing connection. I'm going to use the existing connection and table name candidates. And I don't have this table on database, so I want to create it. So first time I'm running, so I'm going to create a table, and it's going to be insert. So now we have to read from this file. So now, so you have to enter the schema and all if you are going to use a built-in. So what is the best practice? You have to get from the metadata. So I'm going to create a metadata for this candidates file, whatever is shared by the someone. So we have to process as this data. Going forward, we may use a number of times. So creating metadata is going to help you to reuse the component, and it will reduce your rework of copying schema, editing schema multiple places and further. So this is the one only one job that's okay, but still you have to keep the metadata for this file. That will help you whenever you want to use it. So, and we can see you have a header and delimiter file. What is the delimiter? So you have to select the delimiter as comma, and you want to use the CSV option because it has address and all. So I want to keep this. This is the escape sequence character. So within the codes, the data will treat it as a, if it has a multiple commas within the data also, it will treat it as a whole as a one string. So for that purpose, we are going to use these things we already discussed. You remember when we are discussing a file related. So same options we are going to use. And I'm just refreshing data. We'll see how it is going to display on preview. So our delimiter, so files operator, you are going to select this, and now you see right address one, I have a commas. So if I'm not going to use a CSV option, then it will split as a address one will data will going to split as a multiple columns. So to avoid that kind of situation, I'm using the CSV option, and escape sequence. I have already provided double quotes the data. So that's where you are seeing that whole as a one string, the address one. Okay, so we always have to carefully use when you are using a delimited file. It has multiple commas within the same column. Then we have to make sure that is captured in a double quotes all the data. Okay, next I'm going to click next. So data looks good. So this way you can confirm whatever file shared by the person looks good or not. So okay. So contact number, I want to change to the numeric. So I just want to use a integer. So you can change the data types here. So whatever data types you want, but right now I'm going to leave as is. So now it is created. So do we need still this component? Yes, we can use the metadata from here also. So you can select the repository. So all metadata is going to be stored in a repository. So you can select what file you are trying to map to this component. So now automatically you will get all the details related to this component. Now you can see the automatically the schema which you have defined in your metadata and delimited and file path, everything. Okay. So now I'm going to to this map to this map, and I'm trying to load to database. So I'll so first step, I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to load as it is. So whatever data we have in source, I want to load the as it is. And first small transformation, we are going to have audit column. So if you are using a date, then you have to select the date type. Okay, and format, you can select which format you are expecting to load. So you can select that format. You can go to the pattern and you can control space. You'll get the list of patterns available in for the date field. Okay, so this is, and I want to use the system date whenever it is loading. So I'm going to have this. So what method we want to use? Talend date dot get current date. So what is the current date method we are going to use to get the date? And I'm going to use updated by TL services. Okay, this is what we are going to have, and this trn id is a key column, so we can treat it as a key. So now I'm going to run this job. And when we are using a connection component, if you go to the advanced setting, there is a auto commit. So the you are using a same commit, same connection in a multiple places. So that you have to make sure each and every transaction completed automatically saved, because if you are using a 10 components to commit the data or inserting data, updating data, but transaction of the particular transaction is not going to be auto committed. So at the end you have to commit, or you can use a auto commit option in your connection component itself. So whenever the transaction as processed to that output loading into the table, then automatically it is committed. So always use the auto commit in your connection component. That will try to immediately close the transaction, commit the transaction, not close. It means it's going to save you whatever you have operation performed on the table, or whatever you are doing insert or update or delete. So operation, it's going to auto committed. So always you have to use the, when you are using a connection component, if you don't have a connection component, it will be automatically it will save the transaction once the process is completed. But when you are using a same connection for multiple components, then we have to make sure we are using a auto commit. So the transaction automatically saved once once the process is reached to the database. So now I'm going to run this. So we have used a create table. and if there is any error, you can check this Diane error. So if there is any error, so immediately it will kill your job. So you can use that option individual components also wherever you see this Diane error. So if you want to kill your job immediately, if there is any failure, you can use the die on error. So die on error, if the error found, then immediately it is going to kill your job. To run this, so we are getting a contact number issue from file. It is not able to pass that as a integer. So what we have to do, you can change that to, can make it, you can go to the metadata. I just want to use a string only. We'll convert, we'll try to use the convert in our process. So how do we auto convert the data types in tmap? Anyone? Contact number is an integer and zip code is integer. So we have an option to auto convert here. So you can use a auto convert, enable auto conversion of types. So we'll use it and we'll see how to explicitly convert the database. So now it is refreshed. You can verify the changes, whatever you have made in your metadata, it is reflected or not. Now you see, right? Contact number is a type changed to string, and zip also it is changed to string. And one more thing, always when you are doing load, right? So you have to check all the fields length is defined in a database or not. So updated date, I want to keep 25 and updated by again 25. And contact number is going to be 15. So now we have to check table is created or not. So if it is already table is created, we have to drop and create, because that table structure is not perfect, right? So if you see, right, table is created already. So you want to change that, you can change the, you can alter the table, or you can drop and create from your studio. I'm going to drop and create again. So again, we are getting issue with the conversion. is not able to convert it. So I'm going to uncheck this. So to convert this as type, right? So two ways of conversion we can do. So you auto conversion is not going to work because of data issue. So what is the issue? We don't know. Like it's not able to convert the auto convert. So in this case, what we have to do, we have to use a t convert type component. This is a costly operation, so people like when they're using, they'll just think like we can do it within the tmap itself, or if you are going to use one conversion, then using the auto convert type is going to be a costly operation. For it is going to check for all the fields and what data type you are trying to change it. So here you can see it will ask you to auto cast again, same auto cast, and you can mention what type you want to convert from input as a string, and you want to load as an integer into the target. So you can list whenever you connected, you can change that kind of uh, casting of your data types. So you can convert the data types. So I want to, so now I get that. So now we go to the here. I want to convert this as an integer, contact number as integer, zip code is integer. Thing. Still we are going to see any error, or it's going to smoothly it will convert or not. We can see in log row, we can print, and we can see that values. Use it. So still we are getting error. So I'm trying to change built-in. So why it is not able to parse? We are not able to get it. So that's where I'm just trying to check that what is causing issue. So even we have defined as a string, still it is not able to parse it. I'll remove this and I'll try to run this. So this is how you also have to debug. So when you are dealing with a file, these kind of issues you are going to see if you are dealing with Excel or delimiter file or any file. So because like files does not have a defined schema, data types or something, right? So we are going to define when you are reading itself. Okay, now it's see, right, it's not giving any error, so we can see there is no issue. But when you are trying to convert, it is getting error. So what we have to do, this is the where people used to maintain the different layers. So to avoid this such kind of transformation issues and all, so they load the data as it is into the our database. So after on database, you can able to convert required data types to the target table. So the staging why we are going to create, right, to avoid such kind of issues of transformation anything. So earlier we don't have anything, same thing we are doing now. So this is nothing, right? So again it is giving properly data. So we know anything, what I have made change, nothing I have changed, right? But it is working. So this is what to avoid this kind of issues, right? So we are going to have a staging area where you can load as it is whatever data is coming from the source. That will design such a way that job design. But right now we don't have issue right now. So that conversion is happening and it is giving the integer type number and all. Anything I have changed, nothing, right? So same thing also earlier, but why it is giving error? So now I'm going to enable this. We don't have answer for that. We are just reading from string from source file as it is, and we are trying to use the t convert type. And what are the fields you want to change the data types? So I want to read this again. So now it's see, right, string only. So because of that it is able to read. When we are converting, it is not able to do that. So that's where we are getting issue. So auto sync is happening. So when I go and change this to integer, it is not able to convert again, so we'll get a error. So how to solve this problem, we are going to see. So and if it we are going to see the error, right? So what we can do, right? We'll create a staging layer for this table. So the data will be loaded from the table, from the file to table as a string. So all data is going to. So this is the issue. It is saying it is not able to convert the string into the integer. So this is not going to work out for me. So I'm going to remove this. I'm going to remove this. So what I'm going to do, simply I'll read the data from file and I'm trying to load into the table. So with as a string. So this is a one layer which is going to be staging for me. So I'm going to create this table name as stg underscore this one, and I am not going to change the data type conversion here. Okay, this is, so what I'm doing, I'm not going to change any data type conversion. So I'll use whatever it is there in the source to make my life simple. So struggling how to convert the data type and all, once it is loaded into the db, I'll try to, it will make it simple. Our transformations and all we can do on staging. So I'm going to load this as a stage underscore candidate as whatever data it is coming from the source as it is, I'm going to load. So I'm not changing any data type. So we have action on table. We don't have this table, right? It is not able to drop. drop exist, we have selected drop and create. So the table name we have changed to stg underscore candidates. So there is no table exist, so it is throwing error. So to avoid that error, what we have to select, drop table if exist and create. If table exists, then drop and create. Otherwise you can create the job. So that option, when you are selecting the option on table action, you have to select appropriate one, because we have selected earlier drop and create on a other table. So that table is there, but this table we don't have, so it is not able to find the table in that schema. So it is saying does not exist. Again getting. So this is a common batch id, so this is not the key column, so it is having duplicates. So now I'm going to change this candidate id as a primary key. So now you can see the data, right? So I have given some batch id for all same, so same batch. And cid is a unique id for each and every candidate. So I have selected this one. So this is not a unique, so it is having same record for same id for all the records, right? So that's where it is saying duplicate entry, so it is not allowing to load the data. So we have a duplicate entry. So where is the duplicate entry? I haven't saved it. Let me rerun. We don't have 4 again. So it is saying 4 is there. So now our staging table is created, and which is going to have whatever data is there in a source. So however the data type or whatever. So we are going to have same data type, same data in our table. So this is a staging table. So from staging to target, what is my first transformation? I want to make data type changes. So data type changes, I'm going to do that. So after loading this, I want to take a, so now I'm going to retrieve the table from my schema. So this table is created, right? So why do I have to manually do the creation of again my schema copy and all? I'll just retrieve the table from the schema. So staging candidates. So now I can drag and drop that candidates staging table. What? Okay. So now again to use a T map. I'm going to take output component. So I'll just take a same, but I'll change the table name to candidates. Where is the output component? Because I want to use the same schema. So I'm using same component. So I'm going to change this view. So this is changed, and I want to use the existing connection because I don't want to create a new connection for this, and I don't want to configure. So this is also use existing connection. I'm going to have this conversion. Now we'll see the auto type conversion will work from tmap or not. So I'm going to, the field names are same. I'm going to use the auto map, and here I want to change this as a integer. and zip code also I want to make it integer. And this table I want to use the uh, current, so it's going to be differ right from staging load to target load. So I'm going to use the existing method. Yeah, current date. Okay, and updated by we can use the same, or you want to type again, you can type it. So ETL services, whatever we have defined in our staging layer, same thing we are going to use for this also. So that's not going to differ. And you want to change the format, you can select the format here. So what is the dependency between these two jobs? So I want to, and here right, so I don't want to drop and exist every time. I'm going to use a default, and I have already data. If it is going to, we have created a key, right? So now you can see that it is having the key as CID, that candidate ID is a primary key. So you can see here. So candidate is the primary key. So we cannot do the inserts. If the candidate ID has the same, then we cannot select the insert. So what I'm going to select now, I'm going to use insert or update. So this what it is going to do. It will check if already exists, then it will update. If it is a new record, if you have entered, then it will do the insert. So I'm going to add one more record. So here candidate ID is a 6. I'm adding one more record. Okay, so this is going to insert for table, and other are like five records. Other five records are going to be update. So if something changed in source file, it will try to update. Otherwise, it's just a update on that. And we are expecting one more record to be inserted into the table. And after this, I want to run this second flow, which is going to read the data from staging table and load into the target table. So what action on data we have selected? I have made it as a default on action. So I don't want to drop the table. I don't want to clear the table. So just I want to insert or update on the data. On the same table, I'm trying to update or insert or update. Whatever you want, you can select it. This what it is going to do. It will check the data exists in the table for that particular ID. Then it will try to update. If the data is not exist for that particular candidate ID column, then it will go and insert to the new record. So this is a uh, like kind of upset, like it's a merge. It will try to check if the record exists in table, then it will update. If not, then it will try to insert. So action you can select if you want. So updates are going to be more, then you can select update and if you are going to have insert more, then you can select insert and update. So that is depends on what kind of action. So for me it's going to be a insert is a one record and updates are more. So I just selected update or insert. So candidates table already there. So I want to drop and create every time for now. And we didn't change the table name. We have to change the table name, right? This is not our staging table. Cannot resolve. Where is that? it is there, right? So why it is saying we don't have this updated date. So updated date, it is not able to find in our code. Okay. Where I'm not using it, right? Talend date dot get current date. Where else I am using? Is there issue with this query? Then you can select this and you can go to your database, close this. So you have to make it this one as a default. Now you can run. So it is working. So there is no select issue. Mm. So I'm selected and okay. Mhm. Updated by. So sometimes Talend behaves weird. So so we have to let me close and open again. File to DB. We don't know what it is trying because we are already mapped and we are not anywhere. We didn't leave that alone. We are just mapped that directly from table to table. But it is saying not able to find where is that variable. But we have that in our table, right? Updated by. So now it is not throwing. So just simply close and open. So again conversion is failed. I'm going to remove this because this is not working at all. So what I'm going to do, I'll try to check the if not equal to null. I'm trying explicitly how to convert the data type. Okay, and I want to convert from string to integer. So you have a method integer dot, you can find the parse int, and you can pass the number to this field to this method. So this method parse means it is trying to convert your string data type to integer. Okay, or else I want to put 0 default. So this is a transformation I'm trying to use explicitly. I'm trying to convert using the Java method which is available in integer type class, and I'm trying to use the parse int. So it is trying to convert the string. This is a contact number is a string is coming from source. I'm trying to convert as an integer. So integer is a class. Under that we have a parse int is a method. Okay, I'm just using that same. I'll copy paste for zip code also. So here I want to zip. Let's open auto map, then open. So why I'm checking not null? So when you are converting, right, it will try to, if there is no data, then it will throw error. To avoid that error, I'm just checking before doing the transformation, because data is not there. Then what is the point of doing the transformation? So always you have to check the null check. So this is a like a difficult in Talend. So null pointer issue, to avoid the null pointer issue when you are doing a transformations, you always have to check the field has empty or null, and then you have to perform whatever transformation you are trying to apply on that. Okay, so now let's see how it goes. Teacher. So I have a typo, so I have typed my mistake. This is correct. The second one have issue. So here integer. Again failing. Why it is not able to convert? Number format issue. So I made it so you are seeing, right, data type conversion, how it is going to be difficult, but we are going to have this kind of situations in your real time also. So you have to be check very carefully what is causing issue and what is the it is saying. So if you are not able to find, right, even you have to check what is the issue. So this is coming as a string in our file. Is there anything missing our file? It is able to read, right? So it is not able to parse to integer. So how to parse it? So what else we can do? Okay, let me make it one suspect I have. What is the digits? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll make it. Okay, let me copy this number to everyone for now to fix the issue. Okay. So now number is I am given everyone same number. We'll update it later. So we want to check that how many records are inserted here, right? So we are expecting 6 records to be inserted. So 1 is, as I told you, right? When we are selected action on table, insert or update. So all other records are updated and one record is inserted. Now I have updated phone number for everyone same. So I am going to run this job. Then we'll see. So it will update the phone number to all the records to same number and expecting to convert the second floors to. So still we are getting. Mhm.
Krishna, can we try double data type?
So that's where I'm giving more numbers, right, to markup data. That's where I'm getting doubt. Let me change it to not double. Actually, we have to change it to long. So it's integer. We don't have any decimals, right? So okay, to test that, right, let me leave it and I'll try to drop and create this table. So and I'm not going to convert the this one as string. So to avoid to know what is the phone contact number is giving issue. So just I'll leave it again. Stays to target also string, and I'll keep the zip as integer only. We'll see that will convert or not, because the length of the what is the length of this one, right? Integer has a every data type has the limit. So earlier, why I have removed all the numbers, right? I have markup data to show to identify the phone number is valid or not. I have given a more than 10 digits. So it is a integer type I have selected. So it is not able to fit into the integer type because the length of the size of the integer is not going to allow. That's where I doubted. So I have moved all the numbers to integer. Again, Sai also thinking that is causing issue. He wants to change the integer, but to make sure our conversion is working or not, I am leaving zip alone, and other contact number I am going to make it as a string for now. We'll convert it once we identify the issue with the data type. Okay, so let it be string, and I'm going to drop and create. If the zip is converted, so our doubt is clear. The integer type is not allowing the length of the field value, whatever we are trying to do that. So where is the long, where I have selected? This is how our real-time challenges. So source to target when you're doing type conversion is a major issue, and the data issue. So data, right? So I have entered a more than 10 digits phone number, but still I'm not sure that that is causing issue for data. So now you see, right, zip is able to convert it. So I can try to remove that external one. This is a Java code. I'll use the convert auto convert type, which is having in tmap. So if it is able to parse it, the issue with our markup data, which we have a phone number, the data type should be updated, then it will work. So now you using the auto convert type in Talend. So I'm going to run this. I'm not doing explicitly converting the zip code from string to integer. So this is working fine. Now we can go and see our candidates table. We have a zip code as a integer type. So here we can see columns, alter table. You can see right, zip is integer. So automatically our target table converted the zip type. The transformation what we applied is applied and it is stored as a integer type. So now what we are the issue where we have to fix this. So that phone number which we have markup is having more length. I'm going to control Z. I'm going to, so now to fix this, right? So what we have to change? We have to change our metadata where the file data type is to more than integer. So integer is not allowing that numbers. So we have to change to higher than that integer. So that's where it is automatically asked a long type, but I have moved to integer. That's where we struggle to convert that string to integer. So it is default, it is taking as a integer long. So we leave it that as a long and we'll see how we can convert that to. So this is where it is automatically asked as a long instead of integer for contact number long, because the length of the data, that intelligence it is there. So it is able to identify the length of the field is more than integer capacity. So here you see right, it's not able to fit into the integer type. That's where it is automatically selected as a long. So but I converted to string to read that string. So now we want to convert the string to not a integer. So what we have to select in the right side, we have to use a long. So long, how we are going to connect? So you are going to change this as a long. So long is a higher than integer. So it can allow more than integer what it is going to fit. And how to convert this one? So we'll see tmap will work auto conversion or not. We'll drop and create. So now we converted as string to long. So the phone number is going to show in a database. It's going to be a long integer. So this is how it is. So it's not a integer. So it's not able to fit that value. Whatever I mark up, it is expecting to long data type. So what it is selected in database, we can see big int. So this is what it is expecting, but we don't know because we are not aware of the size of the integer type. So you have to check. So the data, this is where data quality check when you are loading, and we have introduced the layer, right? So staging, we are try to get that data into the string, and then we try to understand the issue. So what is the string and why it is not able to convert? Again, we created a staging to target, and we try to fix that one by one data type issue. So zip, we are able to do that directly we using the tmap auto conversion, but phone number it is not able to, because the length and what data type you are selecting is not able to match with the data what we have in a source file. So these kind of things we have to face in our real time. You are going to face the real time, so you have to check. So phone number is what is the type. So mainly from file system. Other than that, if it is a relational database or any structured things, you can able to get the exact data type. So even Talend also it is intelligent. Automatically it is given the long type, but I made that to string. That's where we are trying to identify what is the issue with the contact number when we are converting to integer type. So it is expecting more than integer. So in a DB it is going to be a big int. In Java it is a long. So long int. So integer and then it will have a long int. So long int is a bigger than integer. So we have to select that integer because data has more, so it is not able to fit into the integer. That is the issue. Now we are good with conversion of string to integer. This is a kind of transformation, and we have introduced to two layers. So this is how we are going to do in a real time. Also you will have a source to as it is whatever is there in a source, and I'm going to remove this. When you are staging, right, you no need to have, because always we are going to staging, we are going to truncate and load. Only target will keep insert or update. Now we are clear. So we don't need to have the audit field on this table. I'm going to clear and load again. I'm going to drop and create this table again. Staging table, always it's going to be truncate and load in our real time also. And target table, it is going to be insert or update, or it's just a update, or it's a insert, depends on the table. Okay, so now I'm going to make it default, so we no need to change anything on this data type structure and all. So and we have removed that updated by from staging. So we have to remove from our. So I'm going to change this as updated by field as. Okay, and I know I'm going to drop this table. So I have removed here, and I want to remove from in the schema also. So I'm going to edit this, change to built in. I'm going to remove that from updated by field from input component also. These two audit fields I'm removing from my job. Okay. After that, I'll refresh in metadata. Right now, I don't want to fail my job, so I have removed it. And I'm going to click on. So now you see, right, query has still that updated by updated date, but edit schema, we have removed it to make it sync what we have in a edit schema and what we have in a query editor. Just click on the guess query, that will make what we have in a edit schema, and it will go the warning error. Earlier we have a warning error here. So now I'm going to run this. So this is a kind of real time you are going to face the issues when you are converting data types, and you'll have now you have seen multiple ways of updating, right? I have used a auto conversion in tmap, and one more. What happened? One row. Staging always insert, and I want to make it clear. So I want to clear data, delete data, and load every time. So I'm going to rerun this job. I don't want primary key also. I want to remove from here also. Right click, and you can go to the alter table. I'm going to remove this. This is staging. We are going to have a plain, whatever we have in a database, whatever we are going to have in a file, same as it is. I want to load into the staging table. So I'm going to rerun. So it's loaded. Now we can see two tables, staging, and this is our final target table. Can see audit fields and data type converted to integer for phone number and zip, and other staging whatever we have in a file, same we are trying to simply load into the staging table, and we have removed that updated by and updated fields. Okay, And so we'll continue on this job. We have to do some more transformation. So we see, right, phone numbers are not valid and we have some kind of operations I want to perform on this data transformations and all. With that, will be good with file to database load process and all. Tomorrow, mostly by tomorrow or day after tomorrow, we'll close this file to DB or DB to file concept, and then we'll go to the actual talent features what we are going to use in a best practices when you are designing a job. This is how our job design always. So you will have a number of flows, and now you can see, right, we are creating file exist or not. If file I am going to remove, and we'll see how it is going to be job. I'll remove from that location file. I'll copy this one, Control X, and I'll keep outside. Tomorrow we'll use the same file, and let me rerun. So file does not exist. Is it going to handle or not handling? So it is going to give the error message the file cannot find. So but still job is processor. To avoid that job to process also, what we have to do, we have to check this condition. We know run if, right? If this is going to return, if the file is there, then it will return a true. If file is not there, it is going to give us a false. So file exists, then I want to go to this flow. If file does not exist, I want to go. So like this, you have to change your required connections between the things. So if file does not exist, I want to kill the job. So earlier just we used a sub job. Okay. So it is just going through job because it's not having any conditional check. So we want to run this job when file exists only. This is how you have to use your connections. Depends on the requirement, depends on the your change. Now you see, right, it is false and it is true. So it is satisfied. So but still the wrong way we have passed. We have to get here not, and here we'll put, and still we are not going to solve this problem. So how you want to solve this problem? You have to put this condition to the your job so that it will not going to pass to this component. So if the file does not exist, so file does not exist, file exists only, I want to process. File does not exist, I want to kill this job. I don't want to run this job. Let leave it this component on sub job. Okay, but only when we are going to run this job when file exists only. If file does not exist, then we are not going to run this job. So again, the starting point of your job is going to dependent on your file exist. You feel that a little confusion, but just you have to start play with this component and what is the requirement. So requirement, if you clear with the requirement, now you see, right, the file exist is not there, file is not there, then the process is not started. Earlier the file is not there, also it is processed because there is no connection between your pre-job and post main job. So it is just trying to fetch the file. If there is no file, it will just pop up that message file in that path, there is no file and all. To avoid that kind of check also, why we have to check the location the file exists or not. So we can avoid in the file exist component itself. So you can just check if the file exists, I want to process this. So you have established a connection between the pre-job and your main job. So it is entire thing, it is going to be in sequence. It will check this. If the true, then it will go here and it will start loading this. Like that it is going to design. And in this case there is a failure. Before reading the data itself, you don't have established a connection. To avoid that, again what you have to do, you have to establish first DB connection. So when your connections are going to be key role. So if the connections are wrong, your process is going to fail the what exactly you are expecting. So if your connection is not established before your file check, then what will happen, it will try to load the data into the table and it will say connection is not established. To avoid that issue, what you have to check always, you have to put the db connection first, because output is a loading, right? So output is a loading means you have to make the connection first. So the connection is established, then you can go to the file exist or not. So the connection will be ready when the file exists, then it will start loading into the table. Otherwise what will happen, it maybe it is a true, then it will start trying to read the data from file and it will try to go there and it will check the file exist is connection is exist or not. If the connection is not exist, then it will fail again, the connection failure. To avoid that condition, you have to make your job and flow which is required prerequisite first, then that is you have to make it first and then you have to go to the flow, because you are establishing connection between your pre-flow to main flow. So main flow is loading the data. Okay. So when you are practicing, think that way and understand what is your requirement first. What is your requirement? If the file exists only, I want to process this job. Otherwise, I don't want to run this process. So like this, if I'm going to place the file in that location again, so requirement, what is the first step and second step, you have to design such a way, then you will understand what connections should be used in a your job flow. Otherwise you'll randomly do like a pre-connection and all, but still you are going to lose the connectivity between your main flow and your pre-flow. So when you are designing job itself, make it your steps, what to check, and based on what I want to go to the next flow, what I want to go to the next flow, that kind of design. Now you see, right, it is become a true because I have placed the file and it started loading into the table. So now I'm going to again, I'm going to remove this. I want to make this connection to the next. I'll copy this. So now I'm going to connect to this. So you have to understand how the hub job okay and how the run if is going to work. So then you can able to design your job with proper logging and proper way of execution. So now what happened? So true condition is satisfied, but still the job didn't went to the connection. So connection is not established. You are using a existing connection. So it is throwing a null pointer because it didn't find any reference connection object in your component, because you are using a existing component to establish a connection. So it is not able to find that reference object is created. So it is throwing a null pointer. To avoid this, what I told you, right? It depends on your design. You have to get this first and then you have to check the file check. So even this one, right? You don't need to be in a file exist check. You can make it in a your flow itself, main flow itself. You don't need to have in a pre-flow, because it's just a connections you can keep in your pre-flow, and file exist or any validation checks you can perform in the main flow itself. That's how you have to start designing your job. So to make this kind of, it's going to be a little confusion, but when you start practicing and when you are designing job, think all the directions how we can make our job uh, more flexible to perform any actions on your main flow. Now what will happen, if the if it's going to establish a connection, if the file exists or not doesn't matter. So it is going to establish a connection, but your main flow, it's going to start when the file exists. I'm going to remove the file again, and to make a log for this also, I'm going to have one more t1 component, and here I can put just to capture the message. So just I'll put one more if run if the file exists, I want to go this process. If file does not exist, so this I'm going to copy this label and I'm going to put this warning. So I'll put not. So file does not exist, not I'm adding, and here I'll say So I can copy from TDI component. So this is the message I want to print on the warning, just to print on the warning. So I removed this one. It is going to say, so if file exists, then it will go and load the data into the table. If file not exist, it will come to this component, the warning component. It will going to say the message, file does not exist in your network location, please check and rerun the process. The message it's going to print on the log. So this is how you can design. So if you are adding in a pre-check, make sure the connection related the main whatever pre and main, they have proper communication. So now it is true, right? So it is not went to the process. Okay, so anyway, we'll continue further this kind of job designs and some more transformations. We'll continue tomorrow. Okay, thank you. If you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll connect tomorrow.